Yeah, but look, it's because I can't lift it up anymore. Because it just falls. So... Because it's like too loose on this thing. So I just can't do it.
It's good, that.
It's fine. It's not a big deal. Look, there we go. What about that? And I'll just lean like this. Yeah?
Hello, welcome to the Special Moves podcast.
Fucking
My name's
fanny.
Mike Williams, and these guys are Jake and Liam. That's staying in all that.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah, they need to see what we're working with here. They need to see the challenges that we're dealing with. The arm
the hard
thing.
life of a podcaster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the diva. It's tough. If you're listening again on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, none of this will mean anything to you, but just listen. Take our word for it. It's really bad. These conditions are unworkable.
We're in my spare room, which, we sort of established that. We're using all kit that was very generously donated to us, actually, except Liam's very fine laptop.
Mm-hmm.
We bought the camera because that's...
Yeah,
we you can't get very far without a camera.
And all it is my mic stand just was a bit floppy.
Yeah, which is not the stand's fault. It's the table. See,
it's the party table.
We're using a foldable Home Bargains barbecue
party table.
Party table, I think
It
is
is
what
the party table.
It is
Yeah.
you can't forget the party bit.
So it's like like a school dinner table. It sort of folds in half in the middle, and the only downside of the design is that it doesn't have enough grippage on the side for these nice stands that we've got.
It was designed to literally serve coleslaw off kind of thing, wasn't it?
They didn't factor podcasting
podcasts.
in. But these are the challenges that we're working against week in, week out for the Special Moves podcast, which is now episode what?
31.
31.
And it's been a pleasure. Do you know what I mean? It's something that 31 episodes in brings its new challenges, but also brings its new rewards every time, and I love it.
Jake now works in PR, by the way. If you writing quotes for a living.
Yeah, I wonder if we go back 30 podcasts, what I would have been like. I've learned to love this table.
Yeah. Has very many benefits. So we've got a few topics to talk about this week. It's not actually been a huge week for me personally. I can't think of much in the news that I was excited about or anything.
Interestingly enough, it was PAX this week, right? So it's like a big show floor thing where they showcase a lot of games. And I was expecting there to be quite a few more announcements than there actually was. But nevertheless, next week, so next podcast, number 32, we will have come back from EGX Res, which is
freshly
the biggest indie game showcase in the UK, and we'll have plenty to say about that. So this is just going to be our takes on, this podcast about the stuff we got. Well, we got Borderlands. What else got announced?
Not much really. I'll just have a look at
Divinity
Eurogame
Fallen
while
Heroes
we're
was announced.
There was some Sega stuff, but it was pretty
the Sega mini console thing.
Yeah, it was some pretty die-hard Sega.
But at least next week we'll be drowning and stuff. We'll have all these things. I think quite a lot of people enjoyed one of our first podcasts was like our EGX rundown.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
So it'd be cool to do that.
Well,
again.
we will have played a lot more, like a lot of games.
Yeah.
For the next week because we're going to Res, as Jake was just saying. It's. I think what it might be is that we've been spoiled this year as well because it's been a fucking good year. Like there's either been a great game or two in a week, or there's one coming up very soon, or there's
a big story.
There's a lot of stuff, and so we're hitting April now. So this is sort of. March you do tend to get some decent games.
Some heavy hitters.
Yeah, but then it does dip a little bit.
New tax year, so I guess businesses are less inclined to do it. I think this is the month where they start like ramping up for their E3 reveals.
Yeah.
And they've got all the games conventions over the summer, so I guess it's like when companies start planning what we're going to do for E3 and this and that. So yeah, we've got quite a few games out in April. I know none of them really hit any sort of heartstrings with us, but I think it's like Mortal Kombat Days Gone and flipping Rage 2, a couple more.
There's very little this week actually, but we'll talk about that later on. So let's talk about Borderlands 3 then. This was a big and very lengthy announcement from everyone's favourite magician. I was going to say, I had Magic Man.
Wizards, everyone's favourite druid.
Magician,
right?
Randy Pitchford, who gave us a 45-minute magic trick followed by a game announcement.
No, not even that, man. So it was for those that didn't watch it live, Randy Pitchford started with, "We know that you guys have been excited for this, so we're gonna drag it out," and that's basically what he said. Like
this was at the Gearbox panel, at PAX, which is the
So it was kind of it was led by the day before a teaser, a Borderlands teaser, which was kind of a mask made out of like it was like a montage trailer of lots of different characters and little sort of diorama looking bits, all came together to create this kind of 3D model mask, and then they put out a little teaser for that. More information tomorrow. So then tomorrow comes, the day of the panel, and there's I think it was 80 minutes it ran, the presentation, to show one trailer.
You're going to say the magic trick then?
No, there was a magic trick on stage. It was 15 minutes, so I watched it with my other half, who's not really... she's never played Borderlands. She might have vaguely heard of it, maybe, but she normally enjoys watching the sort of the chitter and chatter and all that, and maybe it's just because... I don't know, it can be quite good to just watch the speakers and seeing everyone so excited. But she ended up like sort of like rage quitting and walking the dog halfway through it, because Randy is quite unapologetically himself throughout, and he is a magician. So there's an announcement of like a Borderlands card game. I can't remember what it was called. It's something to do with Toxie Moxie though. Wait, no, Toxie Moxie is actually a streamer. I can't remember what's the name. Like
Mad Moxie.
Mad Moxie. That's it.
Right,
Yeah. So there's this card game. And so it has cards in because it's a card game, tabletop kind of thing. And Randy thought to himself, hang on a minute, I like cards. So he did some card trick, he got someone to sign it, and it went on for 15 minutes. I kind of switched off. All this here, there, and everywhere. And
what was the result of the trick though?
Oh, like he got someone to sign a card.
Yeah.
Then someone else came on stage, and he shuffled the deck or whatever. I think they picked a number, and then that card was the signed card, something like that.
Whoa!
No, you've seen it before. I could have just been like sort of making that up, and it would have sounded right, but no, that's actually what happened. And then so then he was kind of I say him because there's a little bit of like a meme with Penn and Teller, yeah, like Teller doesn't ever speak. There was I think he was the games director for Borderlands 3 that came on stage with Randy every time Randy kept appearing, because it was peppered throughout other Borderlands announcements like the HD remaster and all this. And it was just kind of every time he was about to speak, Randy would keep cutting him off, and I thought surely that's intentional. And then at the end, he finally was like, "Is it time now?" But the thing was, during the announcement, after Randy's sort of goofs and gaffs and magic tricks and his big reveal that he was actually wearing a rhinestone jacket with a giant, looked like a vajazzle, 3 on his back, like tacky little gems.
Like Alan Partridge in the funeral wake, and he's in a funeral, and he turns around and he's wearing Castrol GTX.
Imagine that, but made out of diamantes, yeah? So he has like this jacket over his jacket, and then he turns with his back facing the crowd, takes his jacket off, and he's got like again a vajazzled 3. That's the only way I can describe it. Now, very cool. After all that, they played this trailer, and the trailer's running at about 15 FPS. We'll get into the content of it now. I just need to set the scene. 15 FPS trailer, jittery. It keeps breaking in such an illusion way. Such a, I'm sorry, there's been a bit of a hiccup. And the way that Randy was smiling through it was a bit knowing. Like, I thought, okay, something's happening.
Yeah.
They played the trailer, a full 3-minute trailer, at like 15 frames per second. And then Randy said, can we turn the middle screen off, the big screen, and maybe play it on the side screens? And I thought, oh, cool, they're going to play it again in 4K, and then in the middle screen, as a surprise to everybody, it'll be like the release date, like boom, and don't forget. But no, it genuinely was a problem at PAX.
Oh, right.
And they took about 5 attempts. One of the attempts was so bad that they had to bring out the guys to talk about the Borderlands remake and just talk about it because they couldn't show you the trailer for the Borderlands remake.
Oh.
Remaster, should I say. So yeah, eventually it happened, and the reaction for it online, as you've seen, has been very warm. What did we see in it? What did we learn in it? Not that much. It wasn't a story trailer.
Yeah.
It was like a very sizzle reel stuff. It was
characters and stuff. We got a good look
at.
You
Got to see like some returning characters, Reese and all this. Handsome Jack is fully dead, although he was teased in the teaser the day before. Like his face was in it.
Yeah.
And then Randy even said on stage, "We just put that in because we're arseholes. We weren't teasing him. He's not coming back." And it's like, imagine.
Who knows what to believe though? He's a magician, or
it's
all an illusion.
That's why I was like, oh yeah, sure, there's a problem.
Not even Borderlands. It's Aliens coming on Reese too.
But there actually was a cel shaded edition. But there actually was a trailer. I watched it, and It was alright. It was like a billion guns in it and stuff.
It would look extremely Borderlands. It just looked like.
Which, if you like Borderlands, you can't ask for anything else.
Yeah, if I closed my eyes and imagined a Borderlands trailer without having seen that, it would look a lot like that. I think it was a quite
Borderlands in 4K.
I don't want to say safe, but it is quite like. So far, I haven't been surprised.
It looked more like another iteration than anything else.
Of course, and that's and you know what? Yeah, that's all people want, because to be honest, Borderlands 2 ended 7 years ago. Yeah, 2012.
A while ago.
Which is weird to me because
there was another one after that, wasn't there?
Yeah,
the pre-sequel, and then there was the Telltale one. But I guess mainline 1, 2.
Well, there was loads of DLC for it as well, like years and years after it came out.
Yeah, so the Handsome collection is like. All of them together, and I think you can get that for pretty cheap right now. And
it's on sale,
it's like
sale every other week
on Steam for the collection.
And they're bringing Borderlands 1, 2, and the pre-sequel with all the DLC, all the bells and whistles on the Xbox One and PS4, which is going to have 4K support, as well as some other nice quality of life stuff. So if you've never played Borderlands,
this is the best time to get into it.
It is the best time, but that's what I wonder. If you've never played Borderlands. You play 1, 2, the pre-sequel, all this, and then 3 might just seem like, oh, more of this. But if you've waited for 7 years, it's like Wes Anderson or Quentin Tarantino or something. Those directors, they do the same.
Randy Pitchford. Yeah.
No, Borderlands specifically.
Okay.
It's the same thing every time, pretty much. It'll change where it's happening, but it's the same thing. But because there's a big gap in between, everyone's ready for it. If it was if they did an Assassin's Creed every 7 years, people would be like, about time.
I would be wetting myself looking forward to the next one.
Exactly. So I think Borderlands doesn't really need to do something that different, is what I was kind of getting at. Like I would have been shocked if I was shocked. Do you know what I mean? I knew it was going to be 2010 era dubstep. I knew it was going to be Claptrap doing breakdancing somehow, and I knew it was going to be a billion guns.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We all knew.
Yeah.
Now.
It is a sort of series that is like rooted in its like identity. Like you don't know what do you add to it to make it any different. Like with it's a very difficult series to tweak and add to. I think without completely changing what it is, because it's got such a strong identity from Borderlands 1 and 2. How do you add to? Do you focus more on vehicles or something, or do you like put them? Because it's got basically all the tick boxes that it needs in the loot and the RPG system and choosing a character, and if you put something like a character creator in it or something, and then made it more like a you build your character and rather than like choose a avatar sort of thing. How much does that change? So it's a difficult one to, without just switching up the characters, the locations, and the types of guns that you get. It's a difficult one to sort of revolutionise, I suppose.
I guess it's like if we're in a similar position with Destiny. Like imagine if in 7 years they just made Destiny 3 and it was exactly the same, but the variation comes in the plants that you visit and the guns that you get. Mm-hmm. Speaking of. I always find Borderlands kind of, I don't want to say pioneered, but like when I played Destiny 1, I kind of felt like that kind of Borderlands vibe. Oh, you can customize. Maybe it's because I didn't play many loot shooters or something.
Yeah, no, I remember Borderlands 1 being an RPG with guns in it.
Yeah.
So a RPG shooter, that was like the unique pitch that it had. And it just happened to have an
FPS of RPG mechanics. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And it definitely, without doubt, helped get us to where we are today with like. Everything's a role-playing game. Everything's
and it had this huge amount of focus on loot and stuff. And it's I don't know how you feel about it, but I'd like to know. But me and Liam have the same opinion, which I think is actually probably the unpopular opinion out of the two of them. That we think Borderlands 1 is nicer time than Borderlands 2.
Oh,
by that I mean we had a nicer time. I mean we think objectively it's better, but I like Borderlands 1 more.
There's no such thing as objectively better.
Exactly, Only your inner truth.
Yeah. Put your bias aside, Jake.
Yeah.
And think about the,
it's boring at them, isn't it? Exactly. Do you know what I mean? If we were just looking at lists,
just think about the facts.
Tetris is the best game ever made. Don't want to hear it.
Thank you. But finally.
Borderlands is...
you guys not played Tetris Effect yet, have you? So.
No, I really haven't. No, but I actually look at it and go, ooh. Borderlands 1 I liked a lot more than Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2, in a word, Deadpool. It's very Deadpool to me.
Yeah, you hate that sort of stuff, don't you?
Yes. Meme. Yeah, we broke the fourth wall, point and click, and like hashtag fart jokes. None of that. Don't like Deadpool. Don't like Borderlands 2's humour. But at least that's got... Deadpool, you just watch it. that's all you can do with it. And Borderlands, you can kind of forget about that and play it. But I remember playing it with my brother, and he ran ahead and killed everybody. And my literal fucking time on Borderlands 2 co-op was picking up shitty ammo. And my brother was having a whale of a time, but it put me off. I came back years later, and it just wasn't for me. Like, I don't know, I think I just, at the time, when was it, 2012 or something like that? What was I playing? Probably like Skyrim or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you reckon? Where do you stand on Borderlands 1 and 2?
I don't know. I've played them both, and I've played even the Telltale. So that's like the one Telltale game that I've played through to the end, and I don't know. I mean,
one Telltale game you've
it's
played
all right.
to the end?
I'll tell you what it's got going for it. Borderlands 2 is split screen co-op. I can't remember if the
unless you're
first
playing
one
with my
does.
brother.
Yeah, but there's not many. I think that's probably why I bought them. I think I actually own the collection on PS4, so
Okay.
for that reason, so I could play a bit of split, couch co-op sort of thing, because there really isn't a lot of choice. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I don't love it. I'm not excited about Borderlands 3, although I may end up playing it. It's a
do
strange
you know
one
what?
for me.
I think it's going to be like that sort of Destiny thing now. I think that they're going to go for that sort of thing where they're going to put events into it, and I reckon it'll go down that route of like not just custom. Maybe you can change out customization. That's what I reckon. I think that's what they're going to have to go in there thinking. And like, are there going to be like raidy kind of things in there and stuff like that? I can imagine that's like the natural progression of things in the past 7 years. There's going to be more of a co-op element and an online element rather than like a game with a very single player story.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to
It
go like that.
suits it, though, doesn't it? It's basically the only thing that, I was talking a few minutes ago about how do you revolutionise it. Well, that's probably how, isn't it? Like, you make it a shared world shooter like everything else.
There were like 2 raids in the first original Borderlands, but they were kind of shite.
Yeah.
You just didn't have the social hub sort of thing, and you didn't have the it didn't feel like a live game. It felt like a game that you either played on your own or you went into multiplayer mode.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they felt like 2 different things.
Yeah.
And with this, like, if you look at one specific part of the very sort of ADD trailer kind of jump cut central, there's like a bit where it specifically focuses on the different biomes and there's like a swampy area, there's like a city metropolis kind of area.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is like, gagging for a bit of a social hub, innit? Do you know what I mean?
There was a rumour online that I saw that it was like, apparently you're going to have like a hub that's like a spaceship, and then you'll travel to different planets.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if there's any like water to that. That's what
big
people were saying online.
Yeah, big if
It
true.
was like a leak from ages ago.
That's a good.
That's what people reckon. You'll have like a spaceship and then go planet to planet.
I like that.
That would be cool.
Good premise. That.
Like actually, just like Destiny.
Yeah,
just like Destiny, Warframe,
KOTOR,
Lego, Star Wars 3. I mean, the list goes on.
I'm actually quite optimistic about it, though. Because I remember.
I'm definitely going to play it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'll get this straight away.
I do enjoy a bit of Borderlands. 2 went a bit too hard on the meme humour for my liking.
Yeah.
Got on my nerves.
So it's going to be
towards the end.
That's going to be the same, if not double down in this one, isn't it?
That's why I preferred Borderlands 1, because it was in Borderlands 1, but more restrained.
Yeah. It's like Saints Row. Just think of a series that has got less wacky over time. It doesn't exist. They think that we really put more of our personality in it the second time around. And even more so the third time around because it was commercially more successful in the second time.
To be fair, I do really like the wackier Saints Row games.
Yeah, the point is it just gets madder over time. Like it gets more like, well, there hasn't been a laugh in the last 15 seconds.
You have to keep amplifying it.
Yeah,
you can't go back.
Imagine if Saints Row 5 came out and it was just like fucking gritty Mass Effect 3. It's the end. It's the end of the universe apocalypse. It just wouldn't work on it. So once you go down that route, you've got to keep going for it. So I think it's just going to be the.
That's actually Saints Row's kind of got itself in a dead hole.
It's written itself into a corner.
It has, it went in Saints Row 4. I won't spoil the game if you've not played it, but it went so far. It's like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Is this Gat Out of Hell? Or is that a different one?
No, that's a spin. I think
that was like a spin-off.
Okay. Right.
But
that's a Far Cry New Dawn.
It is, yeah. But so the end of Saints Row 4 was like, where do they go from here?
Yeah.
Because they've got
space.
I can only imagine it's
they
like
were already in space. That's the thing.
Yeah, I can only imagine it's like a Thanos level sort of. Yeah, so that's Borderlands 3. I think, if you guys get it, I will pick it up then, because,
I'm going to get it. It's safe to say I'll be playing it.
No, we don't have a release date for it. A lot of
No,
people are
it's
saying that it's like going to be later this year, and that's something that's going to happen because they've been working on it for 5 years.
yeah.
Randy says that, and I remember, was it GDC like 2017 or 16, and they were showing off the engine then, and they were
Yeah, it's
showing
been in development for a while.
Yeah, well, he said 5 years, but I don't know how much of that was like sort of the like concept stuff. But yeah, they reckon it sort of in the summer there might be a release date, so that'll be
I
interesting.
can see like a E3 demo release date duo type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Like Microsoft Stage or something.
Yeah. So that's Borderlands 3. Yeah. Otherwise, it's been quite a quiet week.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been like little
That's
announcements
it.
peppered
Yeah.
throughout the week.
Yeah.
So,
Divinity Original Sins XCOM game, which is a natural fit for everybody, got announced. That sounds great. Divinity Original
you
Sin.
want to talk about that? I was going to read an email, but you want to...
No, just saying that. I don't. What else can I say about it? Do you know what I mean? See for yourself, innit? Enough said. It's one of them situations, isn't it? But yeah, I think that is the only announcement I saw that I was like, oh, there was an announcement of a lot of remakes and stuff, or no remasters, or ports. But
Yeah.
like packs, I really thought I was going to get more. Like I said at the very beginning, you know, I didn't think that. I didn't think an EGX doesn't have any announcements, so to speak, does it? This is literally just games on the floor for people to
it's more
play.
of a trade show.
Yeah.
EGX.
And they have a couple of panels. So it was weird that Gearbox had this big like seminar there where they were showing off a game for 80 minutes. And what have we got in the email inbox? Like, what have we got? Not any other inbox. The email inbox.
The Dear Special Moves
That's the
inbox,
one. Yeah.
which is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Well, we got this one from James in Manchester.
Nice.
The northern one, not the one by the sea, James.
Very nice,
Very
right? Little
helpful.
reference there. Okay, good.
James says, Dear Special Moves, I'm a big fan of the N64 era games from Rare. Some of my favourite gaming memories are playing the Banjo games or Conker. With companies leaning so much into nostalgia and remakes these days, it continues to surprise me that Microsoft continue to sit on all these classic Rare properties, especially given the low number of exclusives on the console. I understand their reluctance to produce full AAA sequels, but producing them on a smaller scale with budgets and teams similar to those N64 games and releasing them digitally at a lower price point and on Game Pass makes perfect sense to me. Indie games have proven great games can be produced on limited budgets. Do you think Microsoft will make more use of Rare going forward in the next few years, or do you think my dream of a Jet Force Gemini gritty reboot will go unfulfilled? Love the podcast, James. Nice one, James. Good
Thank
email. Yeah, well, first off, I can't see a Jet Force Gemini gritty reboot happening. Although, you know,
It's more of a chance of Saints Row 5 being a...
yeah. Although, you know, it may come back in some shape or form.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The more obvious, I could see a Perfect Dark sequel, you know, or reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Wasn't there one of them-
FPS is still around, so
Wasn't there already one of them? Like on a 360?
there was. It was a prequel. Yeah, it wasn't very good though.
What was it called?
Zero.
Perfect
Yeah,
Dark
it was like a
Zero.
launch title. It
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
great.
And GoldenEye had one, didn't it, recently? Was it?
It got
On Wii U,
remade.
wasn't it?
It got remade by Activision. Yeah.
Yeah.
GoldenEye?
With
Yeah.
Daniel Craig instead of Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
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 It was on.
quite
It
recently, yeah.
was on PS3 and 360. Well, I played it. It was just Call of Duty, but with James Bond skin
right.
put on it.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I don't know. Like you were saying about like a smaller budget and stuff. Then I think try and remember that back then, Banjo Kazooie was AAA.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
a huge. That must have had loads and loads and loads of people involved in it, and just the money that they spent on just the composition and everything. So yeah, doing that again now is no small feat. Like they tried to do it with ukulele. I say tried. I mean, ukulele exists, so it wasn't like they tried and failed, but
I like that game.
it didn't get the reception that people kind of expected, right? So
I mean, there was a Hat in Time that did quite well.
and that was a quite small budget.
Yeah, that
project.
was a Kickstarter originally.
But if they were going to do Banjo Kazooie, they'd have to do it big, I think, because it's like a beloved classic. They couldn't give it like, I don't know, some sort of fucking rhythm game spin off on the Game Pass. It'd have to be a proper Banjo Kazooie.
Mm-hmm.
Banjo Kazooie.
It's got to look wonderful.
I'll never get that Conker sequel I want. I've given up all hope on that, I think.
Well, Microsoft are in a funny mood at the moment, and I would be,
Do you remember Project Spark when that got announced?
No.
It was like that weird Little Big Planet version of Microsoft thing. And when they were teasing,
I don't know it.
it was like this, like you can make your own. It was like Dreams before Dreams,
Right,
pretty
okay.
much. And Microsoft announced a Conker pack for it, and they had Conker appear on screen. And my heart stopped for a second, and they're like, Project Spark. and I've never forgiven them since. So
Well, no, that's
Or
why I
forgave
remember
them.
it.
The only way
yeah.
that could be worse if it was like Conquer Connect or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only way.
it might as well have been. It was like a stab to the heart.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're in a funny old place. Like they'll want to surprise people. They'll want to
Yeah.
play the nostalgia card, but I don't think it's practical for them to sort of break Rare down into different teams working on smaller scale projects. Like they'll be, I don't think any developer, I think it's rare for a developer to
Well,
to be entirely like.
there's a Battletoads sequel coming out. is
Yeah,
it?
exactly,
Yeah, do
yeah.
you remember that got announced at E3?
Yeah, it was literally just like a logo. And
Oh shit! Yeah, I remember that.
So they've got Battletoads. They've done Killer Instinct. That came out a while ago.
The team will be making a game, a big game. They'll be
Yeah.
continuing.
Yeah,
Part of it will be continuing to work on Sea of Thieves, and then they might have like little different studios. I don't know
On
what Rare's
Battletoads.
setup is like, but
That's the thing. You
but-
need the A team, right, for
Yeah.
Banjo Kazooie.
so you're not going to have like, say you've got 100 people, like 80 of them will be working on one project, and then you'll have 10 working on one thing, 10 working on continuing support for
So
something
if they
else.
were to do like a Battletoads remake and it was like a side-scrolling kind of cell shady 2D looking
Yeah.
thing, that makes sense for a small project, right? But yeah, I think the dream's dead, James. Sorry, man.
Thanks for your email, mate. I don't know what else to talk about in the podcast topics-wise, so while I read this one from Lee Abrams, you lads have a look, innit? No, genuinely, I've been having a look, and nothing. I don't know what it is about this week. I think I'm just I've been neutralised by Sekiro, and
That's
my
the
spare
issue,
time.
isn't it? Like, see, that's the thing. I've got lots to talk about, okay? But it's
But
mostly
it's
Sekiro.
it's all going in another spoiler video for Sekiro.
Yeah, so what we could talk about is... this is a good tie into that email, actually. We're
Go
going
on.
to do it to him, Liam.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, what about the fucking
I was
Sega?
just
Mega
going
Drive?
through the thing.
fucking dance off or something.
Let's
That's
say,
it.
No,
yeah,
we've got
Liam, what we saying?
Yeah.
What?
We've got the Mega Drive Mini that was announced.
Or the Genesis, if you're American.
Or Genesis if you're American. Yeah,
Yeah,
with
so
40 games on it, and it's out in September.
So this is
I
interesting.
did like the look of this.
I don't know if I
I never had a Sega.
No,
I did. Yeah.
I mean, I had a Master System, actually. First console I ever owned.
I know,
Master
Liam.
System too.
You had everything.
In my house, we had a Mega Drive, but not a SNES.
Oh right.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
we,
know.
we were a Sega family.
So you
for a
came
while.
to the snares later.
Yeah, SNES was a thing I didn't experience until many years later, and we were a Mega Drive house.
Ah,
My
right.
mate down the road had a Mega Drive, and I had the SNES, but I had a Master System.
Exactly the same as me. My mate had a Sega, but
But
I-
I recently bought. I think I might have brought it up in a podcast maybe a couple of weeks ago. But when did I buy it? Maybe a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. The Mega Drive collection on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I was talking about? I did the Golden Axe trilogy. I did Streets of Rage. I did that as a kid. Of course you remember. Of course you fucking remember. So what I'm wondering is how many games are they adding to that list of, like, I think there's 27 on there.
There's quite a few.
It's going to make me justify spending
So
my money on there.
They have got.
more.
Do you want me to read some highlights out?
Yeah,
They've got Echo the Dolphin,
that wasn't
They-
on the Mega Drive.
no, Castlevania Bloodlines.
okay.
That wasn't on the Mega Drive collection.
Of course, they've got Sonic, Altered Beast, Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah.
That's all they've announced so far, really. Shining Force, Toe Jam and Earl,
I've got
Space Harrier.
Loads of them are on the Mega Drive collection.
Yeah,
Mate. Loads
and
of
then
them.
Yeah.
it just says literally and more to
It'll
come
be
soon.
Streets of Rage.
Many more.
It'll be
Yeah.
Golden Axe,
Well,
and that's the thing
and
though.
it'll be
Every
20
Sonic
games that
game.
no one remembers.
No, well, the thing is, yeah, they're gonna pad that out. Like on the Mega Drive collection, it's like 26 games, right? Yeah. There's Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic Pinball. That's 3 games that are just Sonic. Oh, and sorry, Sonic 3D, the shit one. Then there's Golden Axe 1, 2, and 3, and then there's Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3. So over 12 of those games are either Golden Axe, Sonic, or Streets of Rage.
But
Bro, what are you doing?
if there's 40 games, that's all right. Because in
Yeah.
comparison to PlayStation Mini, there's 20 games on that.
Yeah.
And there's only, you get a representative from every series.
Exactly, yeah, they send
But-
an ambassador.
Yeah, exactly. So you get one Final Fantasy. It's like,
Yeah.
I think if you've got 40 games on it, I'll take a couple of sequels.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
to be
man.
fair, the Streets of Rage trilogy is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I played Golden Axe recently all the way through, and each one does get better. And it's funny because it was playing these games that made me realise that, like, people are talking about, like, oh, games were back then and all this shit. Like, people talk about loot boxes being, like, the evil or whatever now and all this shit. games were hard, yeah, just because they were trying to rinse you for your money. Because, like, when you play, like, Golden Axe 1 and Streets of Rage 1, it's well harder than Streets of Rage 2 and 3. And it's because 2 and 3 were made for home consoles for your enjoyment. But 1 and 2, 1 is purposely bullshit because you have to pay £1 every time you die in it. There's like a rewind thing you can do on a Mega Drive collection where you hold the top 2 buttons and you go back in time, yeah? And let's say,
Prince of Persia?
Yeah.
In-game?
Yeah, every game can do it, yeah? So say Golden Axe, I jump, and as I jump, oh my god, this guy also happens to jump and kick me. So I go back in time and don't jump and see what happens. He'll jump then, surely. No. Like, when you go back and you actually look at how the game's made, you realise, like, especially in the early ones, you, like, can't avoid death at some point. Like, I rewind quite a while away and then run back, and it kills you every time. And I'm thinking, back in the day when this was an arcade machine, that's 50p a pop.
Yeah.
It's bullshit, yeah? So when you play 2 and 3, you go, this is a lot fairer. The game's more enjoyable back then. So I was
this puts the loot box scandal into perspective.
No, but honestly, right, only when you have, because, like...
No, I know what you mean.
If you perceive something as bullshit and you die, and you tell someone, I died and that was bullshit, everyone's going to be like, yeah, keep rage quitting. But if you rewind time and see what happens if you go again...
that was why did you know it was extremely Ricky Gervais then? I don't know what...
Yeah, so do you know what I mean, though? Like, if I just... Like, let's say I die in Sekiro and I go, fuck sake, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, what would have happened if I did something else? You will never find out. On this, you can literally rewind time and see what happens if I didn't jump or
and
I
you
would.
can see that the game is gaming you.
Yeah, and like I'm saying, I'm saying this now publicly, and you can go and see it for yourself because you can test this yourself. All the early games not all of them, but a lot of the early games are purposely bullshit.
Yeah.
Same with Alex Kidd, like which is shite, by the way. There's like rock paper scissors at that point, yeah, and. So, rock, paper, scissors. The guy gets rock, I get scissors, he wins. I go back in time, I pick paper, he picks scissors. What?
Yeah.
Maybe it was just random, though.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Well,
maybe it is. But
you'd have to test it 100 times.
They did make games, like in America and Europe, like Mega Drive, SNES games, harder because people rented them instead of buying them.
European Extreme.
Yeah, so they made the games harder on purpose so people rented them for longer so they could get a bit more cash.
Yeah.
And really,
I mean,
there is some
it is a business. They want to get money out of you. So
that's why Contra was so hard on the NES because people.
Can you imagine Jim Sterling fucking going on a raver about every time I jump, he fucking pulls me up.
No, but this is what I mean. That's what people are doing now about new games. Oh, the good old days. Games are so much better and harder. But no, it was bullshit then. So people talking about, like, games have been shit and they were well better. No, mate, if you think that games were shit now, that they've always been shit, go back. Rewind time. Yeah. That's my advice to you, mate. Rewind time a little bit and have a little look.
Maybe there was a golden age then that we didn't realise between,
No, there was a golden age. The golden age is right now, isn't it? The golden age is right now.
I mean, in the sense of them not being, that kind of shenanigans. Between the first like 1998 and 2010 or something.
Yeah, maybe there was the first era of home console where there's no internet connection. You buy the game and you're buying it to enjoy it, and the only way that they're going to get more money is rave reviews, innit? Yeah. So the first 3D era.
So they had every incentive to make great games with no, and it was all on sale. It was all on sales, and there was no other means of. So maybe that's what people are complaining about. Like, why aren't we still in the golden era?
Because of the internet, granddad.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So
the Mega Drive...
So to actually tell you some information about it, if you have no idea. This is from Sega themselves. The iconic Sega Genesis. Genesis.
I won't accept Mega Drive, I won't accept the Genesis.
This is the tweet. Returned September 19th, 2019. So it's like all these fucking things, just in time for Christmas. It's exactly the same as all the other mini consoles, basically. It's $80. It's a lot smaller than the basic one. It's preloaded with a bunch of games, and it's out in September. Just like all the fucking other ones, a few months before Christmas.
Yeah. It seems if you're into them.
Who else is left? I mean,
Dreamcast.
That'd be a good one.
I would buy a Dreamcast Mini.
64.
That's the one that quite a lot of people want.
A lot of people want like a Game Boy recreation.
That'd be really good. Yeah, and not like there are many Game Boy recreations.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of clone systems
that have all got Snake and Tetris variations on them, like called Snork and Totris.
No, but people want like like a game.
It's a northern system.
Well, not like a Game Boy Mini, because if it was mini, you wouldn't be able to hold the fucking thing. So,
Yeah.
basically the Game Boy Pocket or whatever.
What about your phone size like that?
I don't know, for a Game Boy, like, well...
It'd be an app, though, wouldn't it? It'd just be a good app.
You need the good buttons.
That's true, yeah.
So, but yeah, people want that with like a backlit screen and everything, rechargeable battery, some preloaded games and all that.
I've got a Game Boy Pocket, and it has that's my original one from when I was a wee lad, and it was the backlit screen is like a big thing.
Yeah.
There's no backlight on the screen, so you need a
it's
light
that pure
on it.
sepia,
Yeah,
and you've got to angle
You
the
have to like
screen.
hold it up to the window.
So artistically, it looks beautiful, but in the right lighting conditions. It's like being in a cinema. You need cinema lighting for it to be with a little like spot lamp
Well, it was
on it.
all the way like that until Game Boy Advance.
So
until they brought out the SP.
So appreciate your backlights, people.
If they did recreate a Game Boy Advance, I would actually buy that in a heartbeat, because that was like the best handheld ever.
And that's got a nice shape.
Game Boy Advance.
The Game Boy Advance, yeah, that was like the library on that thing was.
I never owned one of them.
It's incredible.
It
was basically a portable SNES. That's how good it was.
Yeah, you could literally get like Super Mario and stuff on it.
Yeah,
like,
they put all like Donkey Kong and everything on it.
Very cool.
I don't think I'll get it, but because I've got the Mega Drive collection, but it's a pretty good one. And when they made the NES Mini, I think that was the first one to start this whole trend. I guess people were saying Genesis or Mega Drive. That's a big one that people were saying. That SNES and Mega Drive is like a lot of people. Like that's their console,
especially over here, because Sega was a lot more popular than Nintendo.
Yeah, it
back
was
in
big.
The day.
Yeah, I remember I played it loads with my mate Chris when I was in school. We used to play like Batman and Robin or something like that. Or
there was a Batman game.
We had Batman Returns.
I can't remember.
Hard.
I'm only saying Batman and Robin because you could play as Batman and Robin. I don't know what it was.
It probably was Batman.
It's probably based on the film, wasn't it? Like the 1997 or 8 film.
I did have Batman and Robin on the PS1, and it was an awful game. It had like a time limit,
right?
And it was like a really harsh time limit as well.
Yeah.
And if you failed, it was that you were straight back to the beginning.
I had a game based on The Mask. Remember The Mask?
I remember The Mask.
Was that the SNES one?
Yeah, it was.
I think I played that.
Yeah, I think it was a Mega Drive as well. Maybe.
What happened to it?
Well,
was it like a side-scrolling beat 'em up?
It was a side-scrolling.
That's what all games were.
That's it.
That's what the Batman game was.
Level 1, you were like in an apartment block, and it was solid. And if you got that, you got to go to level 2, which was the park.
You're going up the fire escapes and everything. I remember that.
All the games were side-scrolling beat 'em ups. Super Star Wars. That was
good. Yeah.
Fucking brutal. Impossible. It's an impossible game. I don't know how.
Again, if you have rewind time mechanics, go back. I bet you it'll be bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know how. It's on PS4 actually. You can buy it.
Yeah, I've got the PS4 one.
It's simple. I've not got past the first level. I tried it like 3 times, and because it's not. There's no fucking bonfire before the boss in this game, mate. Yeah. If you die to the boss, get back to the start of the level. I bet that was
in the arcade, yeah?
Yeah.
Rinsing kids.
Exactly.
Rinsing kids of money.
Right, another email. Dear Special Moves, this is from Lee Abrams of Biggleswade in England.
Can we Google this?
Great name.
That is a cool town name.
That sounds like a fable town. It's like,
Is it just outside of Guildford?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Get past Greatwood, and it's you find yourself in Biggleswade. Nice. Originally from Landon, he says. He spelt it like that, which is why I said it.
Yeah.
So Lee says, Dear Special Moves, I seem to suck at games where you can miss picking up an item you need to progress, or get yourself at a point where you have no ammo or medkits, but you need to do some killing. If it's possible to fuck up like this, I will most likely do it. The Resident Evil 2 remake is a prime example of this. So this is struggling with picking stuff up and finding things and missing items and stuff. I've just made it out of the parking garage, I'm assuming in Resident Evil. After getting past the dogs, I am half dead, no ammo.
I hope this is Resident Evil.
And missing the gears for the clock tower. Yeah, send help. I made it this far on my own, and now it's time for me to restart the game from the beginning and follow a walkthrough. This is one of the main ways I use a walkthrough, get as far as I can, get stuck, and then restart the entire game and play through again using a walkthrough. I can't believe this. Really? This way, I feel I get to experience the challenge of the game and get as far as I can, but not miss the story. I have previously tried to pick up a walkthrough part way through the game, but they usually expect you to have followed a certain path and have a good stock of items, which by this point, I just don't. The other way I may use a walkthrough is if I love the game and want to replay it and 100% it. I did this with God of War, completed it with no walkthrough, and then started the game again using a guide. How do you guys use walkthroughs, and are there any game types you just struggle with? Resident Evil games are the games I suck at the most, though I did manage 7 on my first try, only referring to a guide on how to get the shotgun. Keep up the great work, Lee. Thanks, Lee. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's very brave to come forward as
Yeah.
a walkthrough user. It's nice and refreshing. Better than, like, because a lot of people are very proud crowd and they're like,
Yeah,
well, fuck you.
twats, basically.
Yeah, twats. There's a lot of twats. But yeah, so that's cool. I remember, well, me and Liam were talking about walkthroughs on the drive here because we were talking about Final Fantasy.
Right.
And we were saying that 8 is bad. Specifically, you were mentioning like loads of examples of it.
There's loads of like hyper-specific things that if you don't know exactly what to do, you'll miss it completely.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I remember that there was a big push when Final Fantasy games came out for the official guide.
Yes.
I couldn't help but wonder if, like, in 8, were they kind of just make stuff purposely vague to try and bump up sales for these guys. But I remember a friend of mine had a very nice glossy, and it really looked nice. It had pictures of nearly every single page of Final Fantasy 9 guides, and I remember looking through that, like, just basically like reading a storybook, isn't it? Of like, this happens and this happens.
They were almost like companion pieces back then.
Yeah, really nice. And you know what? They probably make really good, cool collector's items. Like if you've got like a mint condition Final Fantasy 7 guidebook now, or 8 or 9, it'll probably be worth a few bob, but it'll look nice on a shelf, like as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they do give you a different. If you pay for like a Primo guide or whatever they're called. I don't know if they even do them anymore, but
they still do.
So they're like 10, 15 quid, something like that. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like an enriching sort of accompaniment to what you've. I've only ever bought one ever, and it was for Dragon Age Origins for some reason. And I think it's just because it was like a huge like traditional RPG from like favorite developer and stuff at the time, and I was like, this is another Knights of the Republic. But then I was reading it, and I was like, it was full of like character bio type stuff.
It's like a full glossary and appendix of stuff, isn't it? It's like an encyclopedia.
Like, not gameplay essential in any way, but it was just like it was like reading in-game items in a book. A lot of it.
It's like a posh manual.
Yeah, for sure. And so you'd go through like area by area as you play through the game, but it would like have things telling you about what you're looking at and what that monster is. And so if it's something like Dark Souls or you've already beaten it, I wouldn't want to have it next to me while I'm playing through Sekiro.
Yeah.
But if I was playing through Sekiro again and I wanted like a little tour guide, like a little Lonely Planet equivalent, travel guide.
That's exactly it. That's what they use for now, especially the physical ones.
Yeah.
Specifically Souls, they've got some very nice companion books where it's just lore and monsters, concept art and stuff like that.
It's like a collector's piece now.
Yeah, like pure coffee table book material. I look at the Blood one quite a lot. Always sold out. Like well over 100 quid on Amazon if you want a used one now. Yeah. I don't know how often they do the reprints. I think they're about 40 quid new. Very nice. But walkthrough. So for me, which is weird, and I guess we're all the same. But when I think of walkthrough, I always think of like magazines as a kid, and you got a little book, little
1001 cheats.
Yeah. Or it was like 5 games, and it would have a walkthrough for 5 games. I remember.
And 1001 cheats. They all had 1001 cheats.
I remember specifically, it must have been about 1998 or something. And if you got this one magazine, you got a walkthrough just for Tomb Raider 2. And I remember, as a kid, me and my mum and dad reading through it, and it was like. My dad was driving, my mum was reading a map. My mum was playing a game and my dad was going, right, Sal,
left,
right, Sal, so it should say there's a tiger around the corner. And that communal thing of it, like, the expectation was quite nice. But
they want to get a sat nav equivalent of it. You want some fucking really immersion breaking
turn right, shoot dog,
pick up item. That'd be a winner. That
avoid zombies.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't really used to. Sometimes I'll look at like trophy guides or whatever, like platinum things, just to see what prerequisites there are for a platinum. To decide if I can be arsed or not. So Extra Life is good for like Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
That's unbelievable.
It's a good. Really... I don't really use a walkthrough, but they're more like road signs that point you in the right direction of where you need to go. So I don't really like to spoil it for myself. I think that's what I find walkthroughs do. They kind of spoil, especially if you're doing a blind playthrough.
It's impossible. It's impossible to have a look at a walkthrough and be safe of, because it just has to tell you. It just has to. Say if you wanted to know which, like, if you wanted a specific help with a specific level, all right, you'd like Google it or something, but there's a good chance there'll be a table of contents, and that'll tell you exactly what the next fucking 10 levels are.
Yeah, or even that. Let's say if it's like enter this room and then be prepared to fight Vicar Amelia, who will turn into a giant beast.
Yeah.
But then if you didn't read that and you walk in and it's just some sort of like feeble woman at an altar,
Yeah.
you watch the cutscene and then you go, oh,
I'm dealing with that now.
yeah, but because basically that's what happens, isn't it? It's like, you know, imagine like watching a film and then just before someone died, you paused it and then your mate just goes, oh, watch this bit now when he dies.
Yeah.
And you're like, because you're watching it going, okay, when's this going to happen? So, I don't know. I like the game to be in charge of how it's telling me information. And so, I mean, I don't think a very concise, informative, and useful walkthrough is the right way of the story being told.
Yeah, it's really not.
You know, so for that reason, I don't really use them that much, to be honest. I don't use a walkthrough at all, but I use like I look at Fextra if I'm playing a Souls game and I want to maybe mop up or just want a little point in direction where have I missed anywhere. Do you know what I mean? I remember playing Dark Souls 3 and I was struggling with a boss, so I went on Fextra Life and I could see the game progress route and I'd found, I've missed an area. And that's like, so that's the extent.
One that gets me with Souls ones is like, it says, sometimes it'll tell you like what the boss's weakness is.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, how the fuck do you figure that out? Without, you know, how if
it's trial and error,
if it's
I guess.
weak, yeah, but how many times are you gonna have to go, well, I wonder how weak it is to fire, and then you have to look how much health the fire's taken off the in comparison to like a regular attack, or
the same people that do speedruns in it. It's just
yeah, I know. So they obviously have figured it out, but as a normal, why would you put a weakness to fire in the game? You know, because most people aren't going to know unless they have a look at, you know.
Exactly. But if you are the one to figure that out, you're like, whoa, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure, yeah. But it's never like a fucking lightsaber. Yeah. You're never going to like put fire on your sword and then instantly take half its health.
You know what? Yeah, like speaking of Sekiro, this is very, very, very minor kind of early game spoilers. But
okay.
There's a mini boss in the game who a lot of people have been struggling with, like Juzo the Drunkard or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
On the run up there's fire everywhere, and you if you're playing it through and you're picking everything up, you pick up loads of oil.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I picking up loads of oil?
Yeah.
Normally, that's how Souls kind of before you go into a place with thunder, they'll give you eel liver, which it stops thunder. So
or there's an NPC going, he never did like fire.
Yeah. In Sekiro, it's a little bit blunt, right? So it's oil. So there's this big boss that's been causing lots of people trouble. Throw oil at him, set him on fire. That's his weakness. But it's there if you look. And
also getting stabbed in the fucking neck.
I'd say getting set on fire is most people's weakness.
Yeah, weakness probably fire in it.
Get hit by a sword. I'll do a good bit as well.
Yeah. So I guess like something. What I'm trying to say is some things are easier to figure out than others. But if his weakness was, I don't know, going back on New Game Plus and using a fan on him, how would you figure that out?
Yeah. I think as I was reading Lee's email earlier, there was just one thing that stood out to me is the fact that I've forgotten what it stood out to me. What was I going to say then?
I don't know, mate. I honestly don't know.
I was just thinking about it. Oh yeah, no, I forgot it again. I'm going very senile. What's happening to me?
I don't know. Is it that he was struggling?
No.
All right, because I was going to say, like, I think he is playing Resident Evil correctly. It's just Resident Evil 2, I think, more specifically than some of the others.
That's so annoying. I found that very interesting as I was reading it, and I was just thought, I'll just load up the email.
I don't think you should give up though, Lee. Like Resident Evil, there's loads of points where you have very few bullets.
It's like it spikes for difficulty. Like you'll have times where it feels like you're against impossible odds, but then you'll get to the next section and you'll be like heavily rewarded with like herbs and ammo and stuff like that.
I didn't find Resident Evil 2. That's what it was. The fact that I scour everywhere. That's what it was. He was struggling to find items. I don't think that's probably my biggest strength in any game. I rarely miss stuff because I literally I'll run into the corners of stuff.
It's efficient.
But if I do the same thing,
and I just can't. It's the fear of missing out, I suppose. I just can't stand the thought of missing anything that might help me later on, or anything especially, we keep talking about it a lot because we're playing Sekiro at the moment, or we have been playing Sekiro. But like missing an item in that could be fucking huge. Like you need the items, and
exactly. Yeah.
A lot of the time it's like a little crawl space or something, or it's like, you'll kill a boss and it'll open a tiny door that you could potentially miss if you're not thinking about what you're doing. So I found it very interesting that someone in Resident Evil as well, which to me you've got a map, you've got it's quite a confined space, so you spend a lot of time in it. So yeah, like just that.
If you go into a room and find ammo, then on the map it's there. Like so, not
Yeah,
only
yeah.
have you've got a map that indicates if you have missed anything.
Yeah.
You can see that you've missed because like you might not have seen that ammo.
Yeah.
But if you ran past it, the game's registered that you've been in the room with it.
Yeah.
So like that's what I would do. I'd miss something in the corner of a room, but even then I'd go back because the map would say, because you do a lot of double and back. So I'd go, I'll take a left, get a film kind of.
So that's what I would say. That's what I would say, Lee. Just like fucking scour the place, have a look around. If you just that's how I just play games. So that's what I thought was so interesting because I just can't think of any other way of playing the game, especially something like Resident Evil, and that's where a lot of the fun comes out for me. Is just like poking around and having a look at see what's going on, sort of thing. Anyway, great emails there. If you have got an email to send to us, it's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. That is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Send us in your emails, and we might end up talking for bloody ages about it like that because there were some good topics there. Let's do releases then. It actually is fuck all, right? Except
I don't think that's
not
the
a lot.
official answer, but yeah.
There's April you were saying earlier there's a couple of things. Like
So I mean,
but
Mortal Kombat 11 is obviously going to be big because the fighting game community is big, and Mortal Kombat is one of the big players in the industry.
Yeah, that's always my one, but I don't think I'll get this until
it's
like
done.
the XL edition.
Until you can get Shang Tsung involved in the game, not paying for DLC prices.
It's probably best with fighting games these days to just wait for like the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah,
because it's always cheaper. You always get everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Mortal Kombat 9 when it came out. Pretty close, like within a couple of weeks. But then, because that was very, if I remember, that was really sort of highly rated. Like that was like, this is the one.
Yeah.
Like this is the best one.
Yeah.
And I got Mortal Kombat 10 at like £4 with everything, and I've played
It's on
it a
Game
little
Pass
bit.
as well now.
There you go. And that's the problem. Yeah, they do put it everywhere as well. I mean, Mortal Kombat is. I think everyone has a flavour of like fighting game, don't they?
Yeah.
Like I've got Mortal Kombat, and I can't really. Street Fighter's not.
I'm a Tekken person myself.
There you go. Everyone's got a it feels like everyone's got pretty much one.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand the fighting game community that much. Like I don't know if people love fucking loads of them. If they love all the games.
Some people do, but then you've got some who are like so committed to one franchise.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what they live and breathe.
Yeah.
Like if they learn like the combos and the meta and stuff, like that's one of the big things that fighting games have got to make sure that they bring in. Like, is the combo going to be the same, like buttons? Because that's like make or break. Imagine if they brought out the game and the buttons are completely different.
Yeah.
If you like spend your time mastering like Scorpion on Mortal Kombat or something, then and it changes for this one, it'll be bad. So there's a lot that
you've been pressing back, forward, triangle, or whatever for the last 20 years.
Exactly. It's actually such a mad community. There's like documentaries on it and everything, because it's such an in-depth community. It doesn't get any love. Like hardly anyone covers it on YouTube unless it's like a specific channel. And like it's something that comes up in conversation a lot. It's a real like subculture compared to like certain other types of games.
Yeah.
It always feels like they're kind of on the outskirts.
Is it just me, or is it because it's not hugely watchable? Like they
have Evo every year.
I know,
like
but they're all fighting game fans. Like if you watch
true.
PUBG, you kind of it's like a paintball situation or like a military situation or someone you kind of get it, but it's so fast and stuff fighting games. And there's like shitloads of stuff going on. Unless you have played the game and you know it quite well, you don't know why is that getting countered and shit and like what.
It's like when we were at EGX like the past 2 years. It's like I think 1 year was Final Fantasy Dissidia or something.
Yeah, they had the Dissidia tournament going on,
and then there was another tournament, and I think that was maybe an older Smash or something.
They had EGX last year, or this year. No, was it
Jump
last year?
Force.
Last year. Well, they had Jump Force and Soul Calibur where you could like play against other people.
Yeah.
That's it, but like a big tournament, like on stage doing it. It's like, you're right. I don't know.
From if you're not a huge fighting game fan, it doesn't.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's what I wonder. Like, I can't recall. Like my point was going to be like I can't remember how many people were actually there for it.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm assuming everyone who was there sitting down really into it must know what they're watching, because like if Chun-Li fucking blocks a Hadouken mid-air, is that impressive? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Because
all I mean?
from the outside, well, that looks like a fucking good uppercut, but then that's a basic fucking move, mate. That's
exactly. So anyway, that's not even out this week, but it's because we really don't have much. I think Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, which is got a big following over in the East, is getting a trilogy collection on the Switch, and is it
I think
the
it's on
Xbox as
everything.
well?
Yeah.
Oh, right,
It's like
okay.
Well, this week.
This week?
No, I missed that one.
I don't think. I'm not sure if it's this week or next week, but yeah,
I
it's
think
like
it's the 6th, so...
it's the first.
That's Friday.
What is it?
No, the 6th. That's Saturday.
Oh, yeah. No,
It's still this week.
Yeah. It's really soon anyway. If
Yeah,
not,
it's like the trilogy of games.
It won't be Saturday, though, will it? It's the...
No.
No, it won't be Saturday. It won't be fucking Saturday.
But anyway, in the meantime,
But it's out, and it's out on like Switch, PS3,
Phoenix,
PS3,
right.
PS4, Xbox, PC, everything. I think it's even on mobile as well, you know.
Cool. We've also got Darksiders War Mastered Edition, which is the only game that I've got down here. That's coming to Nintendo Switch on April the 2nd.
Fuck, it's out on the 9th, so it's not even this week.
Oh no.
Fuck's sake.
So embarrassing. It's
So,
more embarrassing than me
is Darksiders
completely
on,
forgetting
like-
what I wanted to say earlier.
Is it on everything now, pretty much?
I think so. Yeah, I still haven't played it.
What?
You know, the first
No,
one's the best one.
I've got it now on PS4, but that's the annoying thing. Like, I got it on PS4 for like £3. This is that exact game, and it's like 28 quid or something on the Switch.
It's been on sale countless times as well.
I feel like the Switch pricing is a little bit sort of brutal sometimes. If this was 20 quid, maybe.
How much is it?
27, 28, something like that.
That's a lot of money.
For a
It is a
game-
lot, yeah.
Like 2011, it came out as well.
Yeah.
Originally on the 360.
And it's, you know, Skyrim came out in 2011, and that was fucking 50 when it came to
True,
the
very
Switch.
true.
So, you know, it's a bit difficult. I would really like to play it on the Switch. I think it makes, you know, because it's got a lot of comparisons to Zelda and stuff, doesn't it? Or is it the second one?
No, the first one.
First one, yeah.
First one. It's
They
got
call
the-
it like Dark Fantasy Zelda.
Yeah, so I do fancy it.
It's a good game.
It
It's
seems like it
very
would make
enjoyable.
sense, but
Yeah, it's...
yeah.
The first one's... I think you'll like it the most.
Mhm.
I think you'll like it the
Second
most.
one's a bit more Diablo-ish with the loot and stuff.
Well, would you get it on the Switch then, or would you get? I've seen as I've already got it on
Yeah.
PS4.
No, I'd just play it on
yeah.
PS4 because it's quite a lot of it is like big spectacle types, like
right.
you know, like God of War,
Yeah.
like quick time event-y type stuff.
okay.
So I'd say play it on a big TV or whatever because a lot of it is pure spectacle.
Yeah, I'm doing PR for it, so just obviously, yeah, mate, get fucking 10 copies, innit? Sound Jake sent you. But yeah,
Hashtag disclaimer.
well, I thought I have to bring it up, even though I'm not going to.
Yeah,
You're not going to listen to my opinion.
nicely done.
I really enjoyed Darksiders 1 when I played it on the 360, and
Yeah.
I think it's the best place to start. A lot of people think it's the best one.
So before we go then, thank you everyone for sending in your emails again. It's dsspecialmoves@gmail.com. Thank you everyone for supporting us on Patreon. We have done 2 bonus podcasts at this point, by the way, over the last sort of month. There'll be 2 every month from
And
now
we're
on.
recording another one right after this.
We're recording another one right after this, so we're banging out these bonus podcasts for all our patrons. So if you do support us on Patreon, please remember to check that out.
What
'cause
is a
we've
bonus
recorded-
podcast? Well,
I'm glad you asked,
glad
Jake. It's just shit, really. It's just off-topic stuff, so it's not.
it's
you know,
still been
films.
about 80% games.
But it's not anything. You know, newsworthy or relevant or stuff. It's basically more about stuff that
It's just wherever the
we've-
conversation leads us. Really.
Yeah, and it's a bit like what we've been playing and shit like that.
Yeah,
A bit-
and
a
we've
bit
got to talk about films a lot because we like watching films on
Talk
telly.
about films,
Yeah.
music, TV.
Yeah, we've been talking about all that, so it's good if you want to know what our opinions are on stuff outside of whatever fucking PAX has been up to this week, innit? But you know, it's worth it.
And we just we're very grateful to our patrons, and that was the basically number one motivator for wanting to do it, just to make sure that we showed our appreciation on a very regular basis to everyone who supports us on Patreon. Everyone who supports us on Patreon,
Apart from this one guy.
you.
Yeah. That's something. Yeah.
So I was just going to ask just before we go. We're going to Rezzed next week. What are you looking forward to playing? Have you had a look at the lineup? Do you know what's there?
I had a look the other day. I want to play, you know, that new Double Fine game, Rad.
Oh yeah.
I want to give that a try. They've got the Castlevania, not Castlevania game there, you know, Bloodstained.
Bloodstained. Yeah.
I'll give that a try.
Castlevania, not Castlevania.
I think that's what
It's
it
a
does say.
great
That's the banner.
It might as well.
Yeah.
So I want to give that a try. There's loads of stuff there that I want to try.
They're still announcing games. Like I think
Yeah.
it was only on
Is that
Thursday. Devolver announced that they're there.
their lineup? Yeah.
They brought is it like 20 games? I think.
Oh yeah, there's Katana Zero. I want to try that. That looks good.
Yeah. I think there's some older games if you've never played them.
Yeah, there's something like over 200 games confirmed at the minute.
Well, it basically shot up. Like I had a look at the games that they had there like a few weeks ago, and then I look at it again like
No,
2 days ago,
that's what
and
I
it was
mean, yeah.
it was like.
Well, do you want
fucking-
to know what it is? From what I know anyway, is a lot of games have been announced for PAX, and they've had like an exclusivity deal for PAX. So
right,
after it's
sure.
been announced at PAX, they bring it. So if anyone's coming to EGX Res, let us know.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to say hello.
Couple of games I'm looking forward to. Phoenix Point, the XCOM type game
Yeah.
from the original XCOM creator. Night Call.
Dun, 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 dun.
What an album that is, man.
Yeah. Like Call the Kavinsky album.
It's a good
Put
album,
it on
that.
in headphones. And
Yeah, Night Call.
Oh, sorry, that's the song. The album's
Yeah.
Outrun, isn't it?
That's it. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got our back there because it would have been a fucking. You know what these synthwave boys are like in the comments, mate.
I don't,
Beta,
actually.
beta.
These
They're bad.
synthwave boys.
They're bad.
Yeah, Night Call. It looks really cool. You're a taxi driver. Actually, there's 2 games that sound really similar.
And they both got announced like a week apart.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're very similar
You're like a
premises.
taxi driver in a dystopian future.
Well, Night Call's the one where you were in Paris.
Okay.
But that's going to be there. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, there's tons of games actually.
Yeah, absolutely loads. If you're there, come and say hello. I'm on Thursday. I'm going to be there with my boys, Larian Studios, because I'm Divinity Original Sin 2 expert now. So I'm going to be there with Divinity Original Sin 2. It's a game we all know how everyone here feels about it. I'm going to be helping people play it.
It's like an academic. I like that.
Yeah, well, Nick,
It's been studying Divinity Original Sin 2 for many years.
It'll be people. There'll be people that haven't played it before, so I'll be there. And also, obviously, Barbara's You I want to play because it's out
yeah.
now, but I don't want to pay for it. I've seen good reviews.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's £22 on the Switch.
Yeah,
So, I know that sounds,
I don't know. No, is it that much?
I think it is,
It's meant to be quite experimental as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I know it sounds really tight-fisted, but I want to go there just to play it, even though it's already out. Just
Yeah,
to see
sure.
if it's
No,
decent.
there's a lot of games that
Yeah.
are already out there actually. So yeah. So if you're at Res, come and say hello, and don't be scared.
Ooh, that's not what Mr. Burns says when he's an alien on The Simpsons.
I was trying to sound.
It's more likely we'll
Yeah.
be scared.
trying to sound as creepy as possible.
If you're not
yeah.
there for EGX Res, then it doesn't matter because next week we'll tell you all about it, innit? Because
Yeah,
we're going to
true.
be there,
Yeah.
and you can hear our tales, our accounts, and it'll be very, very nice.
Yeah,
and
we'll have
exciting.
more than a few impressions stuff, I imagine.
Probably at least 5.
Yeah.
Maybe some emails as well.
Bye.